I am on a journey towards discovering higher versions of myself, and just like every journey, it gets pretty lonely sometimes. This is why I have made it a goal to bring as many people as I can on this personal development journey towards higher versions of themselves, towards achieving that dream life, towards fulfilling your purpose, towards being all that you can be. No more mediocrity, no more playing it small. I am Judith Ebengho, and this is the JM Show. Hello, JM Tribers. Welcome to today's episode. And in today's episode, I will be talking about something that I have not talked about in quite a while. I don't think I have talked about finance in the whole of season 2 of this show. And even more than half of season 1 was on finance. So I just thought I should give the topic a pause and learn some new things, because I got to experience some things and I had to really do some knowledge check and all that. So I will be sharing some of the things and knowledge that I have acquired on the topic with you guys today. And I've had this nudging on my heart to actually talk on this topic because of quite a number of things that I have been seeing around. I'm not trying to diss anybody, I am just stating some facts, and you're allowed to actually disagree. It's just my opinion, and I hope my opinion helps you. Alright, so a lot of people say, what should I invest in? And most of the time, I know that it is not all about what you should be investing in. It is all about who you are, what type of investor you are. Robert Kiyosaki always says that there are really no bad or good investments. They are just bad or good investors. That means even if an investment is good, if you're a bad investor, you can make that investment a bad investment. What is this trying to say? This is trying to say that in everything, the answer to that question, what should I invest in, is how much financial education do you have? Stop going around asking people that question. What you should ask them is, how can I get financial education on this particular topic? Because that's what you need. You need financial education because the overall affect the choices that you would make. But let's say you're already looking at investment opportunities. Another thing you really want to consider is your risk appetite. And most of the time, the risk appetite you have before you lose money and after you lose money is not the same thing. Your risk appetite changes with time. So today you might say, oh, I have a high risk appetite. I have a risk appetite for high risk investment rather. And when you lose that money, you find out that, oh, okay, maybe my risk appetite is not as high as I thought it was. So what is your risk appetite? If you lose all of that money that you want to invest, what would it look like in the long run? How would that make you feel? How does that affect your financial freedom journey? Another thing you have to consider is having a balanced portfolio. You do not just want to keep investing in high risk investments and leave out the medium and low risk investments. You have to diversify and have a balanced portfolio. What is a high risk investment and medium risk? High risk and medium risk are investment opportunities where you can easily lose your money. The ROI tends to be above the inflation rate of that country. For example, I think inflation rate is about 12 point something. That was the last time that I checked. So any investment that is paying you more than, let's say, about 13, 12 in a year, not even a month. So when I see people doing 25% in a month, I'm like, I hope you are aware that this is high risk. High risk equals you can lose all of your money like that, just like that. I hope you're aware. If you do high risk investments, that is, they're paying you above the inflation rate, please, you also have to have space in your portfolio for low risk investments and medium risk investments. Fine, you may be an aggressive investor, but when you lose all of your money, you need to have something to fall back on. If your high risk investment should crash, you need to have something to fall back on your low risk investment, so that you do not end up being in quite a lot of debt and having a lifestyle that you can no longer sustain. So alright, you need a balanced portfolio, high risk, medium risk, low risk. So when you're looking for investment opportunity, it's always good to consider any investment in these 3 categories and make sure you proportion your money. Actually, do not just have all of, let's say, 80% in high risk and 20% in low risk, or 20% in medium risk. Just do something that is sensible and something that works for you. Another point I really want to address is people say investing is for the long game. Yes, it's for the long haul. That's why most people talk about compound interest. I love to say that compound interest in a high risk investment can end up in tears, because high risk investments are really volatile. Here's what you do with high risk investments. When you're in a high risk investment, you should be well aware that I could lose all of this money. And after that, you should also know that the game you're playing should be played with the money of the house. What do I mean by that? It's like when you're playing poker. When you're playing poker, when you have your first win, that is, you win the money. Let's say you put in, let's say, $2,000 and you've won about $10,000. The wise thing to do is to remove your $2,000 that you put in and play the next round with your $8,000. That is, you're playing on the money of the house. Because if you should lose that $8,000, what would you have lost? House money, not your money. At least you still get to walk home with something. So when you're playing the high risk investment game, always play on the money of the house. Stop playing at your own expense. I see people saying, oh, let's say it's a 25% investment and you get your money back at the end of the month, and you're like, you want to reinvest everything. Take something out of that money. Reinvest on the money of the house. Because if you should lose anything, remember it's high risk and it is volatile, you would have lost house money and not your own money. You can even pull out of that and then spread it to other portfolios that are more stable and less volatile. It all depends on your risk appetite and how much you're willing to lose or gain. Also, a lot of people, when they think about investing, they always think about the gaining part of investing. Fine, you could gain a lot of money. Trust me, you should invest and look to multiplying your money, getting multiple streams of income. But at the back end of it, what people don't consider is the fact that they could also lose money when you invest. You can lose all of the money and you can gain so much more. I feel when people take this into consideration, it helps them make better decisions, basically. That is why you borrowing money to put in a high risk investment, trust me guys, I've gotten this question, you borrowing money to put in a high risk investment may not be the wisest thing to do. If you lose that money, do you have a backup plan to pay up? Do you have a backup plan to pay up? So all these are things that you need to consider. And also, most of the points that I'm sharing is from the book I read, Who Took My Money by Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki is big on cash flow. Cash flow is an investment opportunity. Like when you invest for cash flow, it means you're investing in something that keeps bringing you returns every single month. So let's say you buy a house and you rent it out, and the income from that house, the rent from that house comes in every month. That's an example with cash flow investment. But if you buy a house and you sell it to the next person, that is investing for capital gains. That means you just get to benefit from that investment just once. So that's why he's big on real estate, is big on investing for cash flow, because you need money to continually keep coming in. And if you want to even be financially free, your passive income has to keep coming in on a steady basis. It is always best and better to invest for cash flow than to invest for capital gains. And he says investing for capital gains is like gambling. It's like betting that something will happen in the future when you're not actually even sure about the future. It's like saying, oh, at the end of 4 months, they will pay me this. What is the guarantee that they will pay you at the end of 4 months? Look for investment opportunities that bring in cash flow. The thing with investment opportunities that bring in cash flow is that if there's going to be a problem with it, you're going to notice on time. But if it is a capital gain investment, you would have to wait it out, and at the end, get to see the disappointment that will come out of it, if there is any. He says when investing, focus more on cash flow and do a little bit of capital gains on the side. That's why most times they say flipping houses pay less than actually renting them out in most cases, but it all depends on other factors, like so it is not absolute. Also, you find a company that is promising you 10%, 20%, whatever the percentage is. Do you know if they're insured? Have you back checked with the insurance company to see that they are insured? And do you know what will happen? Have you asked the insurance company what will happen in case anything happens to the investment? What do they pay you? Is it just your capital? And how long do they pay you back? These are questions people don't ask. How long would they pay you back your money if anything happened? Are they just paying you your capital, or are they paying you just 50% of what you put in? Understand the investment terms and conditions. In as much as you have a memorandum of understanding, in as much as you have a legal document to back you up, trust me, you don't want court wahala. It is plenty. So understand that and know if the insurance company is actually legit, and also are they registered with the SEC. Important questions, guys. Please, before you go ahead to put your money anywhere, always ask these questions. It is your money, and they need to explain these things to you before you invest. That's just it. Anyone who is saying you're asking too much questions, please pack your money and run away. Don't do it. Anyone who is getting worked up because you're asking questions, pack your money and run away. It's not worth it, guys. It's actually not worth it. You want to avoid Ponzi's as much as possible. Thing with Ponzi is that they do not have a valid explanation. It looks as if they're explaining something to you, but they're actually not saying anything. So your ears have to be on the ground. You need to hear what they are not saying in as much as you're hearing what they are saying. I hope you get that. Sorry guys, I think this is a bit intense. I'm just trying to go through the points that I have and make sure that it's as simple as possible for anyone who is listening. Please, as much as possible, avoid get rich quick schemes. Especially when everyone is getting into get rich quick schemes, just know that that's when it's about to fold up. Any investment opportunity that everyone is now talking about, it's high time you actually think of a way of packing your bags and leaving. Most times it doesn't end up being a good opportunity. It doesn't. The best opportunities are the ones that are very silent and you have very few people who you won't really know about it. But then whether silent or loud, you still need to do a lot of homework and you need to consider almost all the things that I have talked about previously. And overall, I've mentioned a lot of points. Before you invest, this is what you should do. Make sure you read that Robert Kiyosaki book. It actually opens your eyes to a lot of things. But overall, before you invest, who are you? What financial education do you have? Do you even know what it means to save? Do you know what it means to invest? Do you know what high risk investments are? Do you know what your goals are? Do you know how long you want to play this game for? There are just a lot of things to consider, and your financial education is of utmost importance to you. So instead of going around jumping into any investment opportunities, getting into Ponzi's, wanting to get rich quick, why don't you focus on your financial education? Even if you make mistakes, financial education will bail you out. You would handle your mistakes better if you have financial education than someone who does not have any. You cannot underestimate the power of your financial education. If there's anything you're going to get out of this episode, please remember that your financial education makes all the difference, not the investment opportunity. So invest, read books, pay for courses, learn from people, join investment clubs, watch YouTube videos, invest in financial education, and be open to mistakes. Actually, you would learn from that mistake. Just to further buttress the last point I just made, because I do not want you to miss it, I would read a scripture that really spoke to me on this topic, and it says, a builder is more valuable than a building any day. This is from Hebrews 3 verse 3 in the Message translation. Please guys, you are the investment. You create the wealth. That's why most times when some people lose money, they are not so attached to the figures. They always know that they are capable of recreating what they have lost. So you should see it like that. You should be that person. You should be that investor who knows that even if I lose everything, I can recreate this wealth. That is why your financial education is very important. Recreate your wealth. Be the person who can make money as a sport. I hope you've learned a thing or two. See you in the next episode. Keep living. The JM Show is not a monologue. It is a dialogue. It is a heart-to-heart conversation with you. Yes, you listening right now. That is why I would love to know what you think. I would love to know what your nuggets were from this episode. Kindly leave us a comment on our website www.judithebengho.com/podcast or leave a comment on our Instagram page at thejm.show. All of these will be linked in the show notes below. Also, do not forget to subscribe to this podcast and also give a review for us on Apple Podcasts. It really helps with the rating of this show. We would appreciate your support to keep the show going. You can make a donation to the JM Show by following the link in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in, week out. We really appreciate you. We appreciate the support. We appreciate everything. Till next time, keep living.